Hey everyone, I'm back. Thanks for checking back in with me. Got my truck back. Just wanted to give you all an update on uh, just kind of more of a review of how my experiences with it has been, and also if you've seen my prior videos, you know that I've had an issue with the truck already. At 650 miles, I had a check engine light come on, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my experience with that and what the problem was. Um, so it's hard for me to give a an accurate review. I guess I'll give a review based off of if I hadn't had the issue with the truck, because that puts a significant, um, I guess, damper on my experience with it. Um, Outside of that, I'll kind of try and review it just as if it had been a normal truck. um, Aside from all the stuff that going into it that I had issues with, or you might have issues with, like the design or the lack of under seat storage with the hybrid, or plastic bumpers, things like that. You know, Overall, my initial experience was fantastic. I love the truck. Even as plasticky as it has been, or as it is, it doesn't really feel that way. At least to me, like when I drive it, when I get in, it actually feels like a pretty solid, robust truck. I haven't really had any issues inside. Everything looks and feels great. Like, people have complained about rattles from like the center console. Um, I don't find that there's any rattles at all, any squeaks or anything. I love the infotainment system. Well, I love the screen size. I love the JBL sound system. I will say one of the issues that I have had is the infotainment system is glitchy. Overall, there are some the truck is kind of glitchy. Uh, I haven't had any issues connecting my iPhone. That usually connects no problem. But I have noticed that, and I don't know if it's an issue. I guess it must be an issue with the Tundra, with the software, because on my wife's van, her Toyota, it's got the wired CarPlay, and it works fine, no issues. But on this one, if you are driving and you have the music up, and I know people have touched on this before, if you're driving, you have the music up, and you get a text coming in, if you hit play text, it'll play the text, but it won't adjust the music at all. It'll keep it up, so you can't really hear what's being said through the speakers. And if you try and adjust the volume at that point, once the text is already going, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't turn down the radio volume. It doesn't turn up the text volume. You just kind of have to let it play. So that's a glitch that they need to get figured out. Another thing that I've kind of experienced, um, just some minor things, but like normally when you're driving, you have your little mini info display here. Usually have gas mileage, current gas mileage, or something displayed. Sometimes, and if you change the radio, if you use the buttons to change the radio, it'll pop up a little message there and tell you, next track or whatever. That's gotten stuck on there before, to where, and every time there's a glitch, you pretty much just, you know, turn the truck off, turn it back on, and it usually corrects itself. You can also hold down the volume button for like 3 seconds, and it will reset the screen if the screen has glitched out. Um, but overall, like I said, I've liked it. I really enjoy driving it. It's a great, the powertrain is amazing. Some things that I liked a lot better than I thought I would, or that I didn't really care about in the beginning. Um, the digital rearview mirror is pretty cool. It took a while to get used to, but now I'm used to it and I like it. Also, I would say the panoramic view monitor that you get in the truck is pretty awesome. I love having that. It makes parking um, great. I love all the different views that you get. I love that I can check the view um, of the bed. If I've got cargo in there and I'm driving, you can easily take a look at that. Um, I love the panoramic roof. Uh, that's great. And even, I know some people might not like it. I guess I feel kind of guilty for liking it more than I thought I would have. But you know that on this model with the JBL system, you've got the synthetic engine noise that comes through. And I don't know, I love the way it sounds. It's, like I said, I feel kind of guilty about it because I know it's synthetic. But just when you get in the truck, start it up and drive it, it's just got a real nice, now it's not the 5.7, obviously we all know that. It's not, nothing will replicate that sound, but like I said, overall, just the experience, I really like it. And I haven't really done any mods to this truck. The only thing I've done is I put all weather mats in. I put a little black exhaust tip on there, and I put a bed mat, which is great. That's probably the best thing that I've done. This rubber thick heavy duty rubber mat, because otherwise the bed's just too slippery. Cargo and stuff will slide all around. I know I've had some people ask about like the storage or lack of storage. And yeah, like I said, you understand that if you're going to get the hybrid, you know, you lose your underseat storage with the battery pack. But so far, it really hasn't been an issue for me. I mean, like I said, I knew about it. You do get a tiny little bit of storage back here on both of these seats. They flip down. You know, I've got jack and tools there and tie downs and just a couple of small miscellaneous things, jumper cables. If you do get the JBL sound system on that side, if you fold it down, pretty much that whole driver's side seat is taken up by the subwoofer, so you know, even less storage there. One thing that I probably will look into, I've seen people do, is they make those cargo swing boxes that kind of mount on the side, and those look really cool, really handy. I'll probably do that at some point. I watched the installation video and it looks pretty simple, but I just, at the time, just couldn't bring myself to, you know, pop off the tail light and drill into a brand new truck at this point. Like I said, it really hasn't been an issue. So really, you know, when it comes down to the like dislikes about the truck, there's really not a lot for me. I'm getting about 18 miles per gallon on the hybrid right now, and that's about 95% city driving. I think I've been on the highway maybe once or twice for a short trip. The issue that I had with the check engine light that came on at 650 miles, as you know from my last video, I took it in to the dealer. Originally they said, oh, just monitor it. We'll keep track of it. And then the next day they called and said, hey, Toyota called us. They're going to replace the ECU on it. And I didn't really know how I felt about that. I was kind of hoping that it was maybe just a minor glitch or something. And yeah, maybe I wouldn't have any issues with it. I know some people have told me they had the same error and their dealership didn't do anything and their truck has been driving fine. Which mine was driving fine after it had that small glitch where the check engine light came on, and then after about 20 minutes it reset. But anyway, Toyota went ahead and decided to replace the ECU, and you know, that's kind of just, you know, disheartening to have, you know, this brand new, you know, my dream truck, and already, you know, with under 1,000 miles, I had to take it into the shop and they replaced the ECU, which was a little bit of, you know, it was a pretty simple job, I think. I dropped it off on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, they called me back, said it was ready. I went to pick it up. Tuesday afternoon, I get in, and the first thing I notice is there's no check engine light on, but again, in the little display here, it gave me a system maintenance or a service maintenance light reminder came on, which is odd because, you know, one, it's a brand new ECU, and the truck only had, I think, you know, a little over 1,000 miles on it. And so I gave it back to them. They're like, they ended up keeping it for another day, and because they couldn't figure out how to get that code out, they said everything on the ECU was registering green, but they couldn't figure out why that service light was on. Anyway, I guess they drove it for like a period of time and said that's all it took. The system just had to, I guess, equalize or reset itself. But yeah, and so I've had it back. It's been fine. It's been driving like normal, but just like I said, kind of unsettling. You know, I knew this truck. I knew I was taking a risk buying a new truck. And yeah, it has issues. It has glitches, and ultimately, I would strongly caution anybody who's considering buying one of these to just wait if you can. Wait and see if they can work out the glitches. I mean, I know I've accepted that, you know, it's a twin turbo V6 hybrid engine and it's new and might be reliability issues later on down the line, but that aside, there's just glitches and stuff that they need to get worked out. Which is it's just disheartening to see that from Toyota, especially after you've waited so long for this redesign and they've had so much time to do it. And, you know, again, it's just a brand new platform. So I would strongly urge people to hold off and wait, if they can. Oh, and another thing that I experienced, and I didn't really know about this, but apparently there's a shortage of the actual key fobs. So when you buy a truck, and they don't tell you it until after you buy the truck, when you're walking out the door, they're like, hey, by the way, you only have one key fob to unlock and start the vehicle. And they made it seem like it was just going to be like a week or two. They're like, hey, you know, there's a shortage. In a week or two, the new key fob will come into the dealer and we'll call you and you can pick it up. I was like, okay, not a big deal. I can wait a week or two. A week or two came, it didn't come. I called Toyota, and they're like, yeah, there's a nationwide shortage. We can't tell you when we're going to give you a second key, which is also kind of alarming because with these push button start trucks, I have a spare of the shank key, which I can use to open up the doors. But if I lose or damage the only key that I have, this truck is useless. It's going to leave me stranded because I don't have a. Whereas if I had a spare, I could just call my wife and say, "Hey, come pick me up." So I've been going back and forth with Toyota. They're telling me now April is their date to start emailing out the second key. And I've called the dealer because I was actually considering purchasing just a spare key on my own, just because I'd rather have it just to be on the safe side. And they told me that they have them. They're like, yeah, we can order you one. It'll be here in about 10 days. They're like $400 for those keys. They're expensive. And so I'm considering just biting the bullet and just getting a second key fob just so I have one. And I talked to the Toyota dealership or Toyota brand engagement. I was like, hey, you told me there's a shortage. However, there doesn't seem to be a shortage if I'm willing to pay $400 to get a key fob. And they were like, oh, it'll be the wrong one. They're like, they're not in stock. They won't have them, which, according to my Toyota dealer, they said that they can order them. They had some actually coming in that week, and they could have allocated one for me if I was willing to pay for it. So, just the overall, just really kind of crappy experience with that. And I've been dealing with Toyota brand engagement with the whole, having to take my truck in already under 1,000 miles and see if they can do anything for me, just because, I've been such a, I've had Toyotas for the last 20 years. And to me, I understand that they've never been they've never excelled at maybe any one category. They've never been the the biggest or the fastest or the most fuel efficient or the best payload. But, you buy a Toyota because you feel like, hey, I'll sacrifice a little bit there, but I know I'm going to get just a bulletproof, reliable truck. And, it's not the case anymore, which is just really, really sad. So, and, that's coming from me. I call myself a longtime Toyota fanboy. Like I said, I love their vehicles. They've been good to me for the past 20 years. Hopefully this truck will, other than the issues, it's an amazing truck. I have never had another vehicle that I've just loved being in and loved driving. It's just so nice when everything works. The powertrain is amazing. That's probably my favorite part about it. It's just smooth power, all the way through um, the rev range. But anyway, yeah, that's my update so far, and my review on it. Give me a comment if there's anything that you um, have any questions or anything you want to see, or like I said, overall, my verdict is it's a can be a nice truck, but I'd recommend holding off and waiting for another year or two for them to work out all the glitches. But all right, well, that's all for now. Thanks for checking my video out.